Doesn't this painting look familiar? On a salon wall, above the counter of your local restaurant, maybe somewhere in your aunt's living room. This warm-toned women, this soft, loose brushwork. You may not know who painted it, but you already know the image. Isn't this just a generic decor? The moment that thought crosses your mind, you're actually standing in front of one of the most widely loved images in the world. Today's Lookinto is the artist who conquered salon walls instead of museum walls, Pino Daeni. Step closer, and you start to understand why this image has held people's attention for so long. From a distance, the skin and fabric look smooth, almost photographic. Up close, they're actually a collection of rough, loose brushstrokes. Yellow, orange, and white sit side by side, unblended, and your eye does the work of blending them into light. The woman's gaze drifts towards something outside the frame, her expression holding neither longing nor sadness, but a quiet, settled calm. Daeni didn't polish his color. Instead, he caught the brief, instant light lands on skin, in a few large, fast strokes. That's why his paintings look bold and improvised up close, yet resolve into something soft and warm the moment you step back. This wasn't an accident. He spent his whole career training himself to hold a viewer's heart with a single image. Pino Daeni was born in 1939 in the coastal town of Bari, in southern Italy. His birth name was Giuseppe D'Angelico. It was his first grade teacher who first recognized his talent. His own father remained skeptical that his son could make a living as an artist. He was self-taught at first, then studied at the Art Institute of Bari before entering Milan's Academy of Brera in 1960. There, influenced by the Pre-Raphaelites and the Macchiaioli, he learned to observe and paint a living human figure. In Milan, he earned recognition illustrating covers for two of Italy's largest publishers, Mondadori and Rizzoli. But the more he succeeded, the smaller Milan began to feel. In 1978, he moved to New York with his wife Chiara, 7-year-old daughter Paola, and 5-year-old son Max, in search of greater artistic freedom. What waited for him in New York wasn't the glamorous art world, but romance novel covers. Zebra, Bantam, Simon & Schuster, Harlequin, Penguin, Dell. America's major publishers competed for his cover art. Over his career, he painted more than 3,000 covers. Deadlines were always tight, and he had to pour emotion into a painting on a fixed schedule. But he never did it halfway. It was work done to make a living, but never work done without his whole heart. By 1992, he was worn out. Decades of deadlines, decades of demands. He wanted to paint for himself, not for a cover. He sent 5 paintings to a gallery in Scottsdale, Arizona. The response was immediate. From then on, he returned to fine art. Exhibitions followed in Hilton Head and Garden City, Long Island. His paintings drifted increasingly toward the Mediterranean sunlight and Spanish atmosphere. Flamenco dancers, women standing at the shore, mothers holding children. The light of the sea he grew up beside came back to life on canvas. He would later say, "I am attracted by the abstract, but my sensibilities are fundamentally classical." Critics often called his work commercial. It sold more often as limited edition prints than it hung in museums, and it rarely made headlines at auction. But his paintings spread through the world in a different way, onto salon walls, restaurant counters, someone's living room. Not through critics' essays, but through the choices of ordinary people who wanted to live with that image every day. In 2010, he passed away in New Jersey. But somewhere in the world, right now, his paintings are still quietly glowing on someone's wall. Let's return to that painting. The one on the salon wall or above the restaurant counter. The one that's always been there, so familiar you never really looked at it. But now, doesn't the woman's expression, every one of those loose strokes of light, look a little different? This isn't decoration hung at random. Someone painted it with their whole heart, even under deadline pressure. And someone else chose to keep it close on their wall for years. Now that you know its story, how does this painting look to you? A good painting doesn't have to hang on a museum wall. It doesn't need a critic's praise or a price tag in the millions at auction. Some paintings do their job simply by settling quietly into the hearts of the people who pass by them every day. That's true of Pino Daeni's work. Art history books may give him only a few lines, but in salons, restaurants, and living rooms in cities all over the world, his paintings are still quietly warming someone's day. This was Pino Daeni, the artist who walked past the museum and straight into people's everyday lives.